Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's Dr. Nicole, and we're going to talk about how to really lean into your soft woman era. So, I talk to grown women on this channel. So, I know everybody's talking about the soft girl era, but I'm going to talk about what you need to do to really be in your softness, rest in your feminine, and be in your soft woman era. And this is a bit of a reaction video because I saw a TikTok, actually, a friend tagged me in it, and I thought it was really, really great. And it talks about how we as women, Black women in particular, right? I really want to talk about why Black women need to be in their soft woman era, why it's hard for them, and what they can do. I'm going to give you 5 things that are really going to help you to rest in your soft woman era, especially as a Black woman. And we're not even calling it soft woman era because this is actually needs to become a way of life, not just for a period, right? We're not just saying put down the cape now and then later on come back and become this strong Black woman all over again. Okay. So let me just first of all show you the video so you can get a taste. Um, and yeah. So it's actually like I said, it's a TikTok, it's a stitch, but yeah, you'll get a sense. Hold on, let me hit that play button.
Wake up and realize that you no longer wanted to be a strong. She pretty much talks about like coming to the realization that she no longer wants to
All
be
right, let
a
me put it
strong
back for you
age.
though.
Did you wake up and realize that you no longer wanted to be a strong? She pretty much talks about like coming to the realization that she no longer wants to be a strong, independent Black woman. I will have to say that it's just now hitting me. I just turned 33, and I will say, I think it's this year that it's really hit me that I do not want the title of a strong, independent Black woman. Okay.
First of all, who can relate to that, right? That strong Black woman, I know, it feels like we're dismantling it now, but it really has a really tight grip on a lot of women. And for a lot of people, they have to be into their 30s, some people their 40s, their 50s, and beyond and they finally realize that it's too heavy of a burden to carry and they don't want it anymore. So for a lot of women, like, they're born into thinking they have to be a strong Black woman. So ask yourself as you're watching this, when did you realize that you no longer want to be the strong Black woman?
Okay. I am a single divorced mom. I have been divorced now for 4 years, going on 5 years. So I have been doing this whole thing by myself, literally doing everything, right? For me and my daughter for the past 5 years. And I will say that although I am very happy with my life, I pray for a soft life, a life where the financial weight and the financial burden doesn't fall on me. Actually, I don't want a financial burden in our household, period, but I really do not want to carry the weights in that capacity at all. I want to be able to live a life of leisure, a soft life, a slow life. Like, I am so tired. And although I do feel like I carry it well, like, yes, you probably can't even tell that I'm tired because I do feel like I carry it well. That's not a good thing in itself. Like, it shouldn't be a badge of honor for me having to go through all these different struggles to be, great, right? I marry someone that kind of relieves me of the stress of like day-to-day life. And to be honest, I feel softer. I feel more feminine whenever I'm able to rest a lot more. And right now, I'm not able to do so as much because again, I'm doing this by myself. I am a single mom. But I know, and God knows, there will come a day, there will come a day where I can really truly tap into my soft girl era where I do not have to be this strong woman that's always carrying every single thing, like that I can rest, where I can trust somebody to lead.
Okay. So she dropped some gems at the end. Um, she is waiting for the day when she can let somebody else lead. And I know so many women want that, but even when it's presented to them, they don't quite know what to do with it because for so long they have been in that leading masculine energy, right? She said a couple of things. So I want to go over my 5 things, right? I love that she said she realizes when she rests, she's more in her feminine and she wants to live a life of leisure in a slow life, right? So I know so many of us can relate to that. And I want to, first of all, hats off to this woman for speaking that dream and that desire of hers. And I believe it will become her reality because the first thing you have to do is believe that you deserve it, right? So, step number one to really being able to step into your soft woman era, rest in your feminine as a woman, particularly a Black woman, is to have the mindset of deserving and giving yourself permission for it. And like I said earlier, too many of us wear the superwoman, strong Black woman, title and identity. So it doesn't even occur to us that leisure and softness and slowness and receiving, that those are things that we deserve to have or that we can have, right? Some of us don't even think of it as a possibility because we're on go mode, we're on hustle mode, and we're on grind mode. So the first thing is to develop a mindset that you deserve this, to a mindset that you have permission to want this and that it is possible for you, right? She kind of listed some of the things that make it possible. So number 1 is that mindset, right? Number 2 is really taking self care seriously. Stop dismissing it. Stop thinking you already know how to do it, even though you're not doing it. Stop overthinking it and actually do it. That might mean that you have to actually schedule it, whether it's in your phone or and your planner, that you have to be intentional and thinking about the different types of self-care you need. Sometimes self-care is resting. Sometimes self-care is going to get something done like a massage or some kind of beautification. Sometimes self-care is nourishing yourself, right? So self-care is really what you make it. Um but you have to be intentional about it. And what I find with a lot of women, especially the overachievers, they tend to think they know it all, right? We know everything because we've thought about it. But unless we are actually doing it or applying it, it doesn't matter, right? Another thing about self-care, you want to think about like your different needs. And I always say there's types of self-care that sometimes, we need. Sometimes we need to escape. Sometimes we need to rest, and sometimes we need playfulness and joy. So that's when you go do something fun, or you go on vacation, or you go do something exciting. Sometimes you need to escape. You just need to shut down and maybe watch some TV or sleep or, read or do something that's not so takes up so much energy. And then sometimes you really need rest, but intentional rest, like where you get things like massages or you go and you get a facial, but you really let somebody like do things for you so that you can really, really rest, right? So, really being in your soft, feminine mode requires that you take self care as seriously as you take everything else, right? We have certifications and all kinds of things. We are some of the most high achieving, overachieving. But what comes with that is being overworked, right? Overwhelmed, overburdened, a lot of times overweight. And it takes us out of our feminine, right? So the self care in applying it, not just talking about it or thinking about it or thinking that we know about it. Okay. So that's number 2. The third thing is rest, it needs its own category. Um, you see where she said in the video she desires a slow life. And if you watched any of my content from when I was filming when I was in Senegal, I was talking about the power of being in rest as inviting softness and femininity, right? We were not designed, we are not meant to be hustling and grinding and running ourselves from here to there until we're completely exhausted and then we have to recover, right? Slowing down in it of itself can put you more in your feminine. Taking more time to rest, right? Remember that challenge I talked to you about where you could literally can you challenge yourself to sit down 30 minutes for 30 minutes per day with your feet up, relaxing and just resting, right? We need to adopt the the mantra that we are chasing JOMO versus chasing FOMO, right? A lot of us have the fear of missing out. Some of us need to adopt the joy of missing out, JOMO, right? Because when we allow ourselves to be okay with missing out on things, we actually get more rest because we realize we can't be everywhere. Life is going to go on. We're not going to miss out on that much stuff if we just try to pull back sometimes, slow it down, and take some things off of our plate. That's like really how you rest in your feminine. The fourth thing is because she mentioned that she's a single mom. I don't know how old her kids are, but you have to start getting your kids involved in you having boundaries and you having downtime. So, very early on, they can start participating in chores. They can have roles in the house. They can understand boundaries that when mommy's door is closed, um, that means she needs to rest. Or when I come home, like we need a little downtime or transition time before I start hearing about everybody's day, right? Because a lot of times as women, we go from one thing to the next without any transition. Like we're literally, you get up, you get everybody ready, you get in the car, you drive here, then you go there, then you pull up to Dunkin' Donuts. Like is literally for a lot of people no downtime and no transition time. And so, one of the things you can start to do is to incorporate the kids. Let them know, okay, mommy needs you to do this, or we have to work together as a unit, right? This is your job. When mommy has the door closed, or when mommy has this sign or note on her door, that means she needs some me time, and you can't come in. All of those things help to train the kids that they're as much they need to learn those things for their own well-being, but they're part of mommy being okay as well, right? um so get the kids involved. And then finally, because I love what she said, she is waiting for the day and she says she knows it's going to happen, where she can have a man in her life where he can lead, she can receive. But ladies, let me tell you something, you have to prepare for that, especially if you're like you've been single for a long time, or you've been a single mom, or you've been in a mode where you've had to be up front leading and doing and taking on all the responsibility. Sometimes it's hard for women to put that down. So you want to start preparing. If that is the dream and hope that you have for yourself, you have to start preparing to receive. You have to start preparing to let somebody else lead, right? And some of that, there's a lot of ways you can do that, right? If you are being courted or you're in, beginning stages of a relationship, you really have to be conscious, like intentional about it. Talk to the person you're seeing. Talk to your potential mate about it. And how do they envision leading? Talk about what's hard for you about letting somebody else lead. But more importantly, put yourself in the space of receiving. It could even be receiving from your kids. Sometimes let them do things for you. Let other people do things for you. Receive something as simple as a compliment where you're not always having to explain it or to um, you know, do something else besides just bask in it, rest in it, and receive it, right? So that kind of goes back to the first thing I said, which is it's more of a mindset, right? The key thing is the mindset shift that you deserved to be soft, you deserve to rest in your femininity, and you deserve to be in a mode of receiving so that when that comes to you, right? We don't want to be so caught up in do, lead, masculine mode that when an opportunity, when someone comes to us who's ready to take some of the burden and take the responsibility and relieve us of that strong Black woman identity or mode that we're in, we don't want to reject it, right? And that's the next video, because some of us reject it because we say, "Oh, he's being too controlling," or he wants to be involved in everything, right? Because we're used to being the queen bee, and when somebody comes to relieve us of that, it feels uncomfortable because we haven't been practicing, we haven't been putting ourselves in the mindset of being ready to receive. Okay? So you tell me in the comments, how old were you? How many years old were you, as she said, when you realized you're no longer wanting to be the superwoman? You are so ready to put down the strong, independent Black woman cape and hang it up, right? How old were you? And then tell me more in the comments. What are you doing to be able to get out of that, right? And the other bonus thing, I know I gave you 5 things, but one another thing is you need community. You need a community of other women who are on the same path. They have the same mindset where they're not trying to be superwoman. Because what happens is when you start getting into your rest mode and into your softness, if you're around a bunch of hard women who are hustling and grinding all the time, they're going to feel triggered by you, and they're also going to somehow want to push you out of that and question it, and it's going to make you self-doubt. Okay, so that is one of the reasons why I created my community, the Boundaries to Bliss Society, that really is a space, a safe space for women who want to be soft, who want to be feminine, who want to have healthy boundaries and healthy relationships. And as I say, in my community, we have kept woman conversations. We talk about how to receive and how to allow your spouse to lead, and just how to really take care of yourself so you're not, what did I say? Too many of us are overachieving, overworked, overburdened, and overweight, a combination of those. So, if you want to learn more about the community, you can hit the link in the notes, in the show notes, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and of course, if this has been at all helpful to you, hit the like, give me a thumbs up, and share this video. Take care.